All right, peace and love, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I am your host, Queen Tamara of Astro Hill North Wellness Center. And I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, Moon Day, February. I was going to say January, February 17th, 2025. And it's been a very, very interesting last few weeks. This year came in with quite a bang, and it's going to be an interesting year of the nine, and year of the snake in the Chinese New Year tradition. But with all that said, it's Monday, Moon Day, top of the week to everyone. Thank you for joining. And if you're new, don't forget to click and subscribe. And it's been a few weeks, maybe since I had a live. I think the last one was in preparation for the planetary alignment that started in January, like around January 21st, and that is still in effect. And in fact, on the 28th, another planet will join the alignment. And so we'll have a total of seven that are in alignment. So if you missed the previous video on that phenomenon, and as well as what's going on with the solar maximum and the events that's taking place in October, please go back and watch the video I did with our beloved brother Makua Ray, and also on his channel, Planet Restoration. You will find the global synchronized meditation that we did with brother Bilal, and we also had some guest speakers, Mama Audrey and Baba Kwame Sunhorse, and that was a phenomenal evening. It was done live January 25th, the peak day of the alignment, and it was just so surreal to be in the presence of all those great souls and light workers, and to do the gathering that we had. Just like the planets are converging, we did too, and we came together and we talked about the importance of it. And I've said before, and I will say again, this is a great time to be alive. It's such a phenomenal time period that's taking place on our planet. And with that said, we need to make sure that during this, changing of the guard, if you will, for lack of a better term, or during this paradigm shift and this shift in consciousness that's taking place, we need to make sure that we're taking the best and the ultimate care of ourselves. So that's why tonight's topic is why self-care matters, why it matters. And self-care is important all the time, but especially now, because if we take ultimate care of ourselves and nurture ourselves, it will make it a little bit easier for us um, as we go through all these changes and these energetic shifts, and will also give us the stamina that we need to go through it. If you're in the comments, please let me know if the reception is going well, because I notice there's a lag or a delay in the screen. So the streaming may be a little compromised this evening. But while we are going through all these energetic shifts, these planetary shifts, these political shifts, these social and economic shifts, all this stuff that's taking place right now, we got to make sure that we take the ultimate care of ourselves, and especially our mental health, our mental, our spiritual, our emotional health. Is all interconnected. So when I say why tonight's topic is about self-care and why self-care matters, self-care includes all care: your physical, your mental, your spiritual, um, your emotional, all of it is a part of your self-care. And so self-care, what is self-care? Before we go any further, like, what is self-care? So self-care consists of the things that you do to care for yourself: caring in your mind, your body and your spirit. It includes what you consume, what you expose to, what you do to prioritize your health, your well-being, and the overall quality of your life. We must each take proactive steps to preserve, conserve, and improve ourselves. Self so excuse me, self-care is so much more than just your daily routine of um hygiene. A lot of people think that self-care means, you know, you brush your teeth, you keep your hair clean, things like that. You change your clothes. That's not self-care. That's just your hygiene. That's part of your personal hygiene. But self-care is much more than your daily routine of personal hygiene. Making sure that you exercise and drink a lot of water and things like that. All that is part of your daily personal, hygiene, your spiritual hygiene, or whatever you want to call it. That's great, but just that's not all that encompasses self-care. The caring of the physical vessel and the body, that's one part of it, just a tiny aspect of it, but you have to make sure you're taking care of everything, your mental, your physical, your spirit, your emotions, and ultimately, just what are you doing for your wellness and your well-being? That is your self-care. Okay, so it's so much more than just taking care of the physical. So each thing we do for ourselves complements other aspects of our lives. When we decide to eat something, for example, that will be the fuel to determine how we will feel, how we'll look, and it determines how we'll think. So if you're putting, a lot of junk food in your body, then you're not going to be thinking and behaving and at your very best. You want to be the very best version of yourself, throughout your life. And to do that, you got to do the things that um are satisfying for your soul, and just taking the best care of yourself, and that helps you to get in a better space. Okay, and that helps you with all aspects of your life when you take care of yourself. And many of us devote so much time in our day, in our week. If we look at all the things that we do in a week, from Sunday to Saturday, it's so many things we do for other people. It's so many responsibilities and duties that we have. And, a lot of us have jobs, careers, or whatever, and we do so much everywhere, every win for everybody else. But what do you do for yourself? And then do you put yourself last? And if so, why? Ask yourself why. Why does your self-care come last? And if um you devote your time and energy to other things and other people, when it comes down to taking care of yourself, are you depleted at that point? So are you just giving too much of your energy and your time and your life to others, and or to careers and jobs, or pursuing that, but not enough to yourself? And that's not being fair to yourself, and it's not showing the care and the love that you yourself need, because you're important and you matter. Um, the Also, self-care includes the company that we keep. That'll have an effect on our mental, our emotional, our spiritual health. So it's all interconnected. Self-care is not something many people know how to do, however. However, it is instinctual. Our bodies know when we need rest. We know when we need to move away from certain toxic situations and certain people, but a lot of times we don't do that. And so it's instinctive. But the act of self-care is not so much instinctual, because a lot of people don't know how to care for themselves. I've heard some people tell me they don't do anything for their self-care, and they don't know how, and they've never done it. Like some people, when they talk to me about issues, or when they're in their healing journey and they share with me, and I said, well, what are some things that you do to make yourself happy? And a lot of people will say, I don't know. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what makes me feel good, because I've never been asked that. I've never had a chance to explore that. Um, some people, you ask them like, what are their hobbies? Some people say, I don't have any. I don't have anything I do that's for fun. So um, cultivating a self-care system is very important, and because a lot, like I said, a lot of us don't know how. We're going to talk about that this evening too, because some people have been conditioned that they're not supposed to take care of themselves, that if they take care of themselves, they're being selfish or they're being unfair, that they're supposed to um give to everyone else, and when they take time for themselves, that's wrong. And especially if you're around narcissists, they will have a way to try to make you feel guilty, or make you feel bad for your self-care because you're supposed to be, focusing on them. So all of that we're going to explore this evening. Some people feel guilty for practicing self-care. A lot of times I hear, especially women and mothers, they feel that if they take time for themselves, away from their children, away from their families, um, they feel bad about that. And sometimes people will use that guilt to manipulate you. But if you don't take care of yourself, and if you don't fortify and strengthen yourself and recover and restore yourself, and you'll be depleted and you won't have anything to give someone else. And it's all of our relationships should be reciprocal. I did a video about that a few months ago. Everything should be reciprocal. So if you do some things for someone, they should reciprocate and do for you. It shouldn't, none of your relationships should be that you just give, and you don't feel fed or nurtured or supported. That's not fair. Even if it's a relationship, intimate relationship, or a family relationship, a friendship, a business partnership, or on your job. If you feel like you're showing up and giving 100%, but you don't feel that they are giving you 100%, like, or whatever, or you're giving your all and they only give 20, or they take it for granted, that's not fair. And so when it comes to self-care, as you care for others, you should be cared for as well. You know, so if you're a mom, or you take care of your husband, your partner, your parents, or whoever, you make sure that you establish that you also need self-care too. And it shouldn't be only on your birthday, or only on certain special days that you practice self-care. So, at some point each day, you should do some self-care and do something to honor and nurture yourself, because you do so much daily for everyone else. Remember, it's 24 hours a day. So make sure that some of those hours are devoted to your self-care. Okay. um if you're one of those persons who probably don't practice self-care, then you're probably overdue for some. If you say, well, I don't know what self-care is, I don't practice it, then you're probably overdue. We need self-care for survival. Before we can take care of others, we must take care of ourselves and show up for yourselves. Make your self-care a priority, weekly and daily, just like you do for everyone else. Okay. Some of the reasons to practice self-care are, self-care helps reduce stress and anxiety. It improves mood and emotional stability. It enhances your physical fitness and energy levels, which is very important, because a lot of times we give so much to everyone else and we feel drained and depleted. So taking a break and doing some self-care can help elevate your energy levels. It helps you develop healthy habits and lifestyle choices, which may not be a learned behavior for some people. It's something that we have to teach ourselves and practice. Self care prevents burnout and fatigue, and it promotes a sense of well being and happiness and fulfillment in your life and in yourself. Because when you do for yourself, it gives you a sense of satisfaction, a sense of joy and peace, and then you can better show up for other people. Remember that, keep that in mind. As you care for yourself, you can be stronger and more emotionally fulfilled so that you can help others. How do we learn about self-care? When I was growing up, I didn't hear people talk about self-care. I didn't hear that. I heard, um people I grew up around didn't talk about exercise a lot, except if someone wanted to lose weight or build up muscle. I heard men talk about exercise a lot. So exercise seemed to be something that people did when they either wanted to lose weight or gain muscle. No one talked about cardio health and how important it is to get some kind of cardio exercise in daily. And I certainly did not grow up around anyone who practiced yoga or meditation, things that are a big part of my adult life. I didn't see examples of that growing up. In fact, I didn't see that. And discussions on mental and emotional health did not exist, except when someone was going through a hard time or something like that. There may be some discussions or talk about it, but there was no overall guidance on what was proper self-care. And I grew up around every people who, they went to the barbershop weekly, or they went to the hair salon, monthly or weekly, or they did their own hair, nails. um I thought that was, oh, and go to the dentist every 6 months. I thought that was the extent of self-care. That's all I saw was, people went to the hairdresser or the nail salon, um the dentist, check up at the doctor. That was it. Vacations were considered luxuries. And you don't have to have a luxurious vacation, once every year or once every so many years, or just on your anniversary or something like that. If you need to take a break and do something, that's something that you deserve it, and you have a right to when you feel like you need it. Um, Thank goodness times have changed. And growing up, I've been exposed to a whole new world as I began my spiritual journey. And just been aware of, there's so much more than just the physical. And taking care of the physical vessel is great, but you also have to take care of your mind, your emotions, and definitely your spirit and your soul. All of that is a part of your self-care. And so self-care is something that you do daily. And if you don't have a self-care routine, I strongly suggest you develop one. um, if you have family members or friends who are not so supportive of your um, self-care, I think you got to talk to them about it and train them, and make them understand that this is a priority in your life. How you have your self-care, um, before you can do anything for the rest of your household, or family members, or extended family, or your community, or whatever. You have to make it a priority. And it's when you make it a priority and it becomes important to you, that makes it easier for you to train and teach other people that it's important. So if you one thing I recommend is rising early, before you everyone else in your household starts the day, and you do some self-care for yourself before you go to work or school or wherever it is that you go, and do something for yourself first. So start your day with, some spiritual practices or something for yourself, whether it's yoga, tai chi, meditation, reading some self-help and motivational book, doing some journaling, you know, or just some any kind of mindful practice is great. And or just sit and have your cup of coffee in silence, and in solitude, read your scripture, the word, or whatever you do. That's your time. That's your time. Look at that as a sacred time of day for you. That's your special time of day for you to do the things that you want to do for your self-care. So that's something that, and then you have to if you live with someone or whatever, you got to let them know that this is your time, and it's not to be disturbed. It's sacred, it's important, it's valuable, and once you make it a routine, others will start to respect and honor that too. But you gotta establish it and let them know that this is my time. So from 3 to 6, or 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., or whatever the time is, this is what I do. Please, respect that, honor it, and don't interrupt me during that time. I'll do whatever. Or if it's in the evenings, before you wind down, whatever it is, you set up that time for yourself. You give so much time to everyone else, and throughout your day, have that time for yourself, and establish what your self-care routine is going to be. Okay, so it's going to look different for everybody. Don't compare yourself to someone else. You may feel that you need more emotional self-care, or more physical, or more spiritual, or you may need silence. Some people have a silent retreat every day in their home. They don't talk for an hour or two when they get up, or in the evening, or they need some time to unwind and just listen to some music or whatever it is that you need to do, that's good for you, that honors you and supports you and gives you that sense of fulfillment. Then that's what you do. And you make sure that it's a priority to others, because it's a priority to you. All right. So you are a multifaceted, multidimensional being. Therefore, your self-care should be just as diverse. Your self-care should include things like physical self-care. Physical self-care will be exercise. Like I said before, it can be cardio, weightlifting, tai chi, uh, yoga, swimming, whatever. Also physical, healthy eating, getting enough sleep is essential. You're not going to be your best self if you are sleep deprived. Getting medical checkups, um, getting massages, doing things like that to support your physical health. Massage is essential. I'm, by the way, a massage therapist, so I know the benefits of it, and it's very good for your physical well-being, as well as your emotional and spiritual, because it helps do so many things. It has so many benefits. That's another whole video, but it has so many physical benefits to everything, and it can including help the body to detox. So make sure you take time to do all of those. Well, do what you can each day, but make it a routine for yourself. And especially, I strongly recommend people to have a self-care routine, especially if you're healing. If you're healing from a breakup, a divorce, a healing from narcissistic abuse, or whatever it is, you know, this is, or you just feel like you just need some healing. This is, and some balancing, like that's, set up a self-care routine. It will help you with the healing journey. It will help you. heal and part of the healing process and establishing some kind of balance in your life is how you care for yourself. So you're meant, so that's all of those are physical self examples of physical self-care. Some mental self-care is practicing mindfulness, just being aware of the moment, being mindful of what's going on, what you're thinking, what you're doing. Um, Being grounded, your meditation helps with your mental as well as the spiritual. Journaling, reading self-help, self-improvement books, having cognitive behavioral therapy, talk therapy, group therapy, whatever, to benefit your mind and your mental, especially if you're healing from stressful situations or PTSD. You definitely need to have a self-care routine daily, even if you're just sitting and chanting positive thoughts, positive affirmations. That helps your mental because it helps reprogram you. If you have been someone that is healing from abuse or neglect, all those negative thoughts and things and that verbal garbage that somebody may have dumped on you, you have to replace that with positive, uplifting thoughts and affirmations. And try practicing zikr or something like that, or chanting mantras. But whatever it is, it has to satisfy and feed your mind, your mental. Practice kindness. Practice smiling. They say smiling reduces your blood pressure, and it helps release the happy feel good hormone. So all of that is part of your mental. Find something to stimulate your mind, um, through books or whatever, whatever. That's is your routine. Emotional. Don't forget your emotional self-care. Emotions is, I call it energy in motion. How you express your feelings, not suppressing your feelings. Many of us, especially people who are healing from any forms of abuse or neglect, a lot of times our feelings, we weren't allowed to express them. We weren't allowed, they weren't validated. Well, now is a chance to do that. Express your feelings freely, of course, within boundaries. And say what's on your heart, say what's in your mind. Seek support, support in the form of healing, or just people that acknowledge that your feelings and how your and validate them and show that they care about how you feel. Practice self-compassion. Don't forget, when you are showing compassion to other people for what they're going through, make sure you show that to yourself. Um be compassionate to yourself. Be patient with yourself as you're healing and changing. Practice release rituals. Cry when you need to. All of this helps support your emotional health and your emotional well-being. Don't suppress those bad feelings. If you feel, um, if you having a moment where you're feeling under attack, or that PTSD is PTSDing, or whatever, you're feeling anxious, afraid, do something to ground yourself and to reconnect to your higher self so that you can get through that and not feel so afraid or upset or whatever it is. So always remember your emotions. Your emotional healing is very important. Your emotions are very important, and how you heal your emotions in your self-care. Do some things socially, spending time with loved ones and friends, meaningful people, maintaining social connections. Don't isolate yourself too much while you're going through, whatever it is you're going through. Especially, as part of your self-care, do social things that bring you joy, have fun. Takes trips, vacations, even if it's a weekend trip or a day trip. Do little things to honor yourself. Listen to positive, uplifting music and people, things that bring you joy and happiness, and just make you feel supported. Do those things because that's a part of your self-care too, and it will benefit being social and doing fun things, like-minded people. That can be in the form of exercise, maybe taking a Zumba class, or yoga or something, whatever it is you choose to do. Join a choir, join a chess club, anything of those things that make you happy, sipping paint, whatever. Just do it, and it helps your emotions, it helps your mental, it helps your physical as well. All of it is interconnected. Okay. And spiritual, I should have made spiritual at the top of the list, but engage in spiritual, religious, or meaningful activities connecting you with nature is one. Do some energy healing. If you say I've never had energy healing, then you long overdue for some. um Try some Reiki or some other forms of it, yoga, silent retreats, sunbathing and sun gazing, moon bathing, all of those things and then some are very important and essential because we're spiritual beings and the spirit has to be fed just like the physical body has to be fed. And so, how you will honor and feed the vessel, the spirit that dwells within is just as important. And make sure you're doing some things to honor that and to care for that. That should be a important part of your day. Don't forget and neglect that as well when you are planning your self-care routine and your self-care rituals. um So remember to make some form of self-care a part of your day every day. Okay. Do it until it becomes a habit. If people try to make you feel guilty or bad for your self-care, then you need to address that immediately. You give so much of your day, your time, your week to your job, your family, friends, organizations that you're a member of. Remember, ask yourself, how much do you devote to yourself? If you do some kind of club or organization, twice a week, and you work out, and you go to work every day 40 hours a week, and then you got your family, whatever. All those things are great, but what are you doing for you? Remember that. How many hours daily, how many hours weekly, how many hours per month do you devote just to yourself and doing things for you? People who try to make you feel some kind of way about your self-care, you tell them that you deserve self-care, and if they don't like it, then they should concentrate more on their own self-care. While they're focusing on theirs, they won't have time to worry about what you're doing for yours, because you have to do it. Is you have to care for yourself. Just tell them like that. um Look at self-care as an act of devotion and an act of self-love. You are a spiritual being, and to honor yourself in this way is to show appreciation and love to your sacred body temple. Your body is your temple, and you deserve to care for it with the same reverence that you would give to a sacred holy site that you visit. You don't have to go out somewhere or travel to a holy place, because wherever you are is holy, because you can make that a holy space, right? Remember that, that is within us. We are the you are the shrine of the Most High, and you are a sacred being. So care for yourself in a loving, sacred, gentle manner, remembering to honor yourself always. Care for yourself is like honoring the divinity within. And it is, when they say that your body is a temple, it really is, because it's the temple for the Most High. It dwells within. For example, your body is, look at it as a gift from Allah, the Most High, God, whatever you want to call it. So treat yourself like you are a gift. You are the gift. You are a great soul. Honor yourself daily with self-care. And remember, while you're doing that for yourself, think of it for other people. So you know someone that's maybe somebody that you care for, you take care of, maybe take care of your children, your family members, people on your job. You may have one of those jobs where it's caring for others, whatever it is, remind think about that when you're interacting with other people too, that they not only, when you honor yourself and you show that, lead by example, that you're doing self-care, you're showing other people that it's a priority and how they can prioritize it for themselves and why it's important. And um encourage them. If you have children, encourage children, encourage family members to do something for their own self-care. Children can do things for their self-care too. It doesn't have to be the parent always doing for them when they get a certain age, but they should have some time to do some self-reflection. um some of the things that I mentioned earlier. Encourage them to do that. Start those healthy habits early. Um, Another reason for self care is to recharge yourself. We live very busy lives. Many of us don't have time to relax or to slow down, but you need to. We need to relax. We need to recharge, restore our health, restore our minds, and restore our spirits. We can't show up for others if we are depleted, if we are drained and stressed out. And many of us give, 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 like I said earlier, and people just take, 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 and there's no healthy balanced cycle of give and take, the ebb and flow, the love and the care being um reciprocated. If you're just giving all the time and then you don't take time to honor, love, care for, and nurture yourself, that's not good. So you don't want to neglect yourself because others may have neglected you. You don't want to abandon yourself and put your needs last just because others may have. Remember to care for yourself. Take time to restore balance. So remember, family, please take this information, use it to your best ability, share it with others. Remember to practice self-care, make it a daily habit, and make it a daily part of your life until it becomes a habit and second nature. um I know it may sound strange to some people. It is something that some of us have to practice. It doesn't come easy, and I know some people do have feelings of guilt, or when it comes to self care, or they think it's not okay, or it's just something that you should just do occasionally, um, like to pamper yourself. And I'm gonna tell you, pampering is great, but pampering is not self care. That's a part of self care. Yes, you should pamper yourself, especially the physical. Great, but that's not all that self care is. So remember, watch the video twice if you need to kind of get the message. But family, we have inherited a lot of unhealthy habits from the past. So as we grow and evolve, go easy on yourself. Remember, you're clearing thousands of years of outdated conditioning. And with that said, I wish you all wonderful evening with love, peace, prosperity, good health, and freedom to all. Take care of yourselves. Peace and love.